Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from Blue Hawk Legend. She's correct. Crypto wallets will evolve to have your entire life on it. Remember, I kept saying over time, crypto wallets are going to definitely evolve. I still think we're going to see a bottleneck around crypto wallets because some of them most likely are not going to comply with Know Your Customer or anti-money laundering. But she's saying they're going to emerge into something bigger. The term crypto wallet may disappear within the next 6 years, and users will begin to rely on the technology for much more than just storing crypto. According to Jess Hallgrave, CEO of the on-chain user experience platform Realm, she says that it will emerge into a life hub by 2030. When asked how she visualizes that in more detail, she compared it to digital filing cabinets, where different parts of a user's life, like medical records, education credentials, and tickets, will be securely stored and managed. I think crypto wallets also will eventually merge with digital IDs. I think that's most likely the path that we're on. But I want to see how it evolves over time. Because if it's going to require a digital ID to have a crypto wallet, I'm not going to have a crypto wallet. I will find a better option, and I'm sure better options will come available over time. Makes you wonder, with such simple, obvious comments as the head of Visa CEO said, I bet you could run a worldwide credit company also. Non-dollar stablecoins will rise over the next few years, Visa head of crypto says. And I think he's right. You know, we're going to have a lot of stablecoins based on other currencies other than the US dollar. I think Ripple is most likely going to launch one in Japan, most likely will launch one in Canada and other countries. And that's the path forward as well, because what does the new financial system bring? A level playing field. Every country is going to want to have their own currency. They're going to want to transact in that currency. And that's what stable coins are going to do. They're going to level the entire playing field. Crypto exchange BingX hacked. On-chain data shows over $43 million was drained. You know, we're going to see more of these hacks happening, especially as crypto starts to really take off. It's the same reason I'm always telling you to get your crypto off the exchanges. No exchange is 100% safe. And I think we're even going to see a bottleneck with the exchanges in the very near future as crypto regulations start to go live. Because there's a lot of exchanges out there that aren't doing KYC and AML. And if they're not going to be compliant, they're just going to be gone. So expect a bottleneck there. What a joke. This article gives a bullshit response and price prediction saying XRP will reach around $50 by 2050. What idiots write these articles? You know, I see these articles all the time, and I don't take them with anything more than a grain of salt because they're all bullshit. You know, think about it. By 2030, could you imagine the utility that's going to be driving the price of XRP by then? XRP by 2030 is most likely going to be somewhere between a 4 and 5 digit asset, if not even higher. Because as the world's moving value, moving money, gold-backed currencies, the path forward for XRP is easily 4 digits plus. Ripple partner Neom adopts JP Morgan payments. Is XRP next? So you remember how Neom partnered up with JP Morgan. Well, right after that, it seems like JP Morgan started to push into becoming a global company. they right away expanded in UK. Now they're expanding in Africa as well. JP Morgan aims to expand in Africa and Scandinavia. And I think this is because they're utilizing the RippleNet technology through Neum and most likely XRP as well. But we'll most likely get those announcements at a later time. But it just doesn't seem like that happened by coincidence. They partner with Neum and all of a sudden start to expand worldwide. Cashless payment systems falling victim to fraud. Wow, it's been a long day. So they're telling you that there's fraud with cashless payments. And of course there's going to be fraud there. But yet they want to push us into a cashless society. But it's because a cashless society isn't meant to benefit us. It's meant to benefit the government. So they could keep track of all of our transactions. So they can control our money. And a cashless society is not what people think. You know, everybody keeps saying, oh, I wish we would go cashless already. I wish we would get UBI already, Universal Basic Income. But everything that comes from the government comes with strings attached. People don't factor that in. You know, anything they give you comes with a price. And once we push into a cashless society, meaning that there is absolutely no cash, think about how that's going to work. Think about, it's going to end up costing people even more money, because most of the time, if you decide to pay someone in cash, they're going to do the job cheaper if they're doing repairs on your house. You know, I had a plumber that had to come by recently, and I said, okay, give me the credit card price and then give me the cash price. And the cash price was like 20% cheaper. So think about it like that. So cashless society is not going to benefit anyone but the government. And, you know, whenever people use cash, whenever they're doing illicit activity, they're using cash. They're not using crypto. That's like the government. They say that on the mainstream media news because they want to keep the normies out of crypto. They want to make sure no new investors come into this space. That's what that's all about. This didn't age well. Why printing trillions of dollars may not cause inflation. You know, they always try to put that out there. Like, hey, we're going to go ahead and print all this money, but don't worry, it's not going to cause inflation. Then when it causes inflation, then the Fed is fighting off the same inflation that the Fed caused. And then you see Rep. Thomas Massie has announced End the Fed legislation to repeal the Federal Reserve Act, the 1913 law that created the Federal Reserve System. You know what's going to end the Fed? It's going to be a couple of things. First, it's going to be gold-backed treasury dollars, which I think that is possibly the path forward, or gold-backed CBDC. And if it's not that, you know, what's going to really end the Fed is gold-backed dollars. Because once we go back to the gold-backed system, there's no use for the Fed anymore. And, you know, even Ripple, I keep saying it, I think Ripple is emerging into a central bank. I could even see Ripple at some point replacing the Fed. Because every direction that Ripple's going in, it makes them look more and more like a bank all the time. BlackRock is marketing Bitcoin hard. Aren't you enough of a bull? I don't even understand why they worded it like that. But we see Larry Fink on the mainstream media news, and take a listen to the way he's pushing Bitcoin.
I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios.
He wants to make sure you're buying it. That's what he's actually saying there. And Bitcoin, if BlackRock didn't get involved with Bitcoin, honestly, I think the price of Bitcoin would be higher than it is right now. But it's not only him pushing it. It's also Michael Saylor saying it's going to $13 million over 21 years on the mainstream media news. Now, if I was to go on the mainstream media news and say XRP is going to 10K, right away, people would be like, oh my God, listen to this idiot talking on the mainstream media news. But people buy this shit because it's Michael Saylor saying it. And because their belief in Bitcoin is at a new all-time high. But I look at this as them onboarding retail. They're trying to get as many people in there as they possibly can, because they want to make sure there's enough exit liquidity when it comes time to get out of Bitcoin. That's what I see playing out here. And why would they ever tell us as retail investors what's going to make you rich? They're never going to give you that information. It's the same reason that we all know as XRP investors that XRP has the potential to give us generational wealth, but nobody's going on TV and telling you that. It's because they want to keep you distracted from that. XRP is something that disrupts the entire banking system. It can move fiat dollars from one country to another. It can move tokenized assets. It can move central bank digital currencies. They don't want you investing in it because it's the future. And every time I see Michael Saylor or BlackRock on the mainstream media news, it brings me right back to Franklin Templeton. Take a listen.
Bitcoin is the greatest distraction from the greatest disruption that is coming to financial services.
So think about that. Franklin Templeton has a Bitcoin ETF, and she's saying this. She's telling you it's the biggest distraction out there to keep you from the biggest disruption. The biggest disruption is going to be XRP and QNT and XLM and XDC and HBAR and Algo and IOTA, ADA, because these are the cryptocurrencies that are part of the new financial system. They're keeping the normies distracted. Starting to look like Bitcoin has no real value. XRP might really be the only true Bitcoin. I always said it, and Brad Garlinghouse even said it. XRP is a better Bitcoin. It does everything that Bitcoin was meant to do, but failed along the way. But when I see that all over the mainstream media news, and even all over X, you have all these people every single day. Did you buy Bitcoin? Did you take the orange pill yet? Go and study Bitcoin. You'll sell every other asset. It's like, no. It's like when you have something so overhyped, there's something wrong there. Whenever they're hyping something up at this level, something big is about to happen. And honestly, I think it's going to start with Tether. Tether is not going to send Bitcoin to zero, but it is going to put a massive dent in the price of one Bitcoin. Most of the value that's holding Bitcoin up is fake value. It's because Tether minted it out of nothing, and then propped up Bitcoin with it. And right now, most of the value that's sitting there is fake value. And once that fake value falls out of Bitcoin, everybody's going to realize it was one big bubble all along. And that is why I cannot get myself to invest in it. And I actually held Bitcoin at one time. If we were back in 2020 right now, I'd be telling you, listen, Bitcoin is definitely going to run up. It's going to have massive runs in the coming years. But here we are in 2024, and utility is about to drive this market. Utility is going to break the 4-year cycles. Utility is going to end the hype in this space, because once real value shows up, the days of hype are over. And it's going to start with regulations. Regulations are also going to end the hype. It's going to get rid of all the meme coins. Now, Bitcoin's going to be with us into the future. It's just not going to have the price points that it has today. And this next run for Bitcoin is the time you're going to want to exit, because I honestly still believe it's going to achieve $100,000. After that, I don't know where it's going to go from there, because the times of 4-year cycles, you could already see it winding down. But XRP will then take over this space. And as that happens, XRP holders are going to become part of the new 1%, as long as you hold it long enough and don't sell too soon. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.